What's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to unlock the Bruen LMG from Modern Warfare for those of you that are free to play in Warzone. Now, I did cover this weapon in the past, however, tons of people have joined the game since then on a completely different map, and overall the difficulty of the challenge probably has some of you guys out there still struggling to get this complete, so I wanted to give you guys an updated version. Now, before we dive into it here, if you guys enjoyed the content at any time or find this video helpful in any way, make sure you guys show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Let's go ahead and throw an easy goal of 50 likes on today's video, as well as if you guys would like to find your way back to the channel for more Call of Duty content, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button, also the notification bell so we don't miss you in future videos. Alrighty, so first things first, in order to unlock the weapon, you're going to need to know what the challenge is. So if you go to where you edit your loadout, go over to your LMG category, scroll down to the Bruen, your challenge should be read as follows. Using an LMG, get 3 kills on enemies near your smoke in 5 different matches. Now this is one of the more difficult challenges just for the simple fact that the smoke dissipates at some point, people might go down, you might not get your elimination fast enough. However, we're going to dive into some easier ways to do that. The first thing I want to go into is what game mode you guys should be playing, and in all of my videos I recommend Plunder. Plunder gives you an extended amount of time, and obviously we are appealing to all levels of skill, so having anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes can be more optimal, giving you the ability to get that progress on your challenge, and then obviously being able to do that in the least amount of matches possible, which in this circumstance is going to be 5. In today's video, I was fortunate enough to be jumping into Rebirth for Blood Money Quads, which is essentially Plunder on Rebirth, which is probably the best option you have out there, but it's just not always available. When I do dive into Rebirth, I like to land on the roof just because it gives me the most engagements I can get, and it overall increases my chances of being able to get my challenge done. However, we don't always have that available, like I said, so when it comes to Caldera, I highly recommend that you guys land on Airfield, just for the simple fact that tons of people are going for weapon challenges, also people leveling up weapons in general, and it's just overall the place on the map that has the most engagements. The more engagements that you find, the better opportunities you're going to have to actually get the progress on your challenge and do this in the least amount of time possible. When flying into Airfield, I always find it's great to fly towards the outskirts, that way you can avoid people landing on you, and it also allows you to see people flying in, so you can choose your engagements wisely. With this challenge, however, it doesn't matter how many times you get eliminated, but I will highly suggest that you guys go for as many engagements as possible, because this challenge is a little bit tricky, being that people will have to be near your smoke and get eliminated in order for it to actually count. Now with this challenge, don't worry about them actually being inside your smoke, but don't allow them to get too far out of it either. And sometimes it can be easier to down an opponent, throw the smoke on top of them. As long as they don't eliminate themselves, you can finish them off and it should count towards your challenge. The only risky part with this is if a player is solo, is going to instantly eliminate them. And if you haven't thrown your smoke already, you're just not going to get any progress on your challenge at all. So I do highly recommend you take the easier route, which is to throw the smoke initially, hope that they're in or around it, try to eliminate them as quickly as possible, and hopefully if they go down, you're able to get them before that smoke dissipates. Now they don't, again, have to be inside the smoke, but anywhere on the outside or close to it should count towards the progress on your challenge. And it is a little bit tedious because sometimes people like to stim, slide out of the way. Some people just don't like to stay in smoke. They're like, what the heck is going on? So it can be a little bit more of a pain than others. So the more engagements you find yourself in, like we talked about earlier, the more likely you are going to be to complete this. In some circumstances as well, it might be easier to try to third party a gunfight as people are in engagement. You throw that smoke on them, they're going to not be able to see each other, and you will be able to actually shoot them through that smoke, which we'll discuss with our loadout later on in the video, as it will actually make more sense at that time. Now, I do highly recommend that you guys play solo when it comes to jumping in onto Plunder, because it's going to affect where you're going to be able to land and respawn on the map. If your team gets wiped while playing with other people, you might spawn all the way across the map, which is going to obviously take longer to get back to where the action is, overall limiting the amount of time you'll have to actually gain your progress. If you are fairly decent at aiming your smoke grenades, you can post up somewhere up high, whether it be on near a ledge, somewhere that you can mount. That way you can be a little bit more accurate. You are using an LMG, so you're going to have tons of bullets to work with. However, sometimes it can be a little bit more pain to hit your shots, and you want to be as accurate as possible to take them out as quickly as possible so that progress will indeed count towards your challenge. I think one of the more frustrating things about this is you are going to be fairly slow running with an LMG, so the mobility is not going to be all that great. So positioning yourself could be super important. It takes camping in a corner or camping somewhere for the duration of the match in order to get this complete. So be it. You don't have to obviously play the way you normally do. You can play a little bit ratty, you can play a little bit more campy. It's all for the sake of the challenge, and then go back to your normal play style once you get this weapon unlocked. When it comes to unlock challenges too, I always like to recommend using Dead Silence. It allows you to sneak up on engagements, allows you to have quiet footsteps, which can put you in better positions to eliminate players. And alongside that, for this challenge in particular, it really helps if you want to run the restock. If you're running out of those smoke grenades, you will be able to obviously get more of them in the same life and not have to throw down a supply box or have to actually get eliminated to get your resupply in. So now that we've covered some tips and tricks on making this a little bit easier, let's go ahead and dive into our recommended loadout today, which is going to be featuring the Modern Warfare LMG, the PKM. All right, so for our attachments on our PKM, we have as follows. The muzzle, it's going to be that monolithic suppressor. The optic, I'm using this Solo Zero NVG Enhanced, which is the thermal. Obviously, shooting through smokes is much easier when you have a thermal sight. The stock, I'm running the no stock. The rear grip, I have the stippled or stipled grip tape. And last but not least, I have for the underbarrel, the snatch grip. Now, when it comes to this challenge, the one thing that makes it a lot more difficult is the simple fact that people are in smoke. So running that thermal sight is overall going to allow you to see through it, unless the person on the other side is using cold-blooded, which I found to be pretty rare, allowing you to shoot through the smoke. This is one of the most crucial tips you can have when going for this challenge, because if you're trying to shoot somebody that's through smoke or near smoke, trying to eliminate them without a thermal sight, you're just setting yourself up for failure and overall making the challenge much harder than it needs to be. Now, when it comes to these challenges, sometimes you're able to leave matches. However, for this challenge in particular, I wasn't able to actually test that because I've obviously got the weapon unlocked already. So if you are in game and you go to where you edit your loadout, go over to the LMG, scroll down to your Bruen, and you see that your progress is tracked once you've gotten your eliminations, then if it seems to have counted, you can then leave the match and jump into your next one. Overall, decreasing the amount of time it will actually take you to complete the challenge. Now, the last thing I really want to mention here is when you're going for challenges for a weapon on a certain title, I always recommend using a weapon from that same title, which is why we're running a PKM in this one, for the simple fact that sometimes it can affect the tracking of the challenge. So if you're using a Vanguard LMG to try to unlock this, you might not be getting the challenge tracking at all, and it might overall take you longer to actually complete this, or you might just think something's wrong with the challenge and you won't be able to do it at all, which is not necessarily true. So by running a Modern Warfare LMG to unlock a Modern Warfare LMG, you will decrease your chances of this happening and overall increase your chances of getting this done faster, which is the whole purpose of today's video. But that's going to wrap things up for us here. If there's anything I didn't cover that you felt like you had a question about, please leave that in the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.